I'm Maruno, and the focus of today's video is going to be on addiction. Addiction is probably like a pretty big deal right now. Like, just based off the fact that society is just at a point right now where there's just more stimulation, more potential stimulation than there's ever been, and at any point in time, like ever. There's all type of shit going on. Like, there's just a bunch of different types of drugs. I think most people's addictions are probably related to screens and the internet, like social media and like porn, for example, especially for men. And like YouTube. Like, YouTube is something that I personally like struggle with, just like constantly just always wanting to watch something on YouTube. Video games. And then of course food. Like, most people in the human population right now are just like fat, they're overweight. And this addiction has probably something to do with this. I think that addiction, so really what addiction is it's basically like you've been involved in a situation, and it's a situation that you want to keep involving yourself with, like bad, like really, really bad, like to the point where it's starting to have a negative consequence on your life, and it's taking the place. Like, you have things that you would like to do, but instead of doing those things, you end up doing the thing that you end up getting involved with the situation that you're addicted to, just because you just feel like you have to. Like, it's just a feeling that you feel like you have no other choice. It's just a compulsive situation that you're in. And I think that when it really comes down to, and what I'm talking about right now is just like, I'm not talking about like addictions that are like super like that influence your actual cells in your body. Like, if you're addicted to meth right now, you don't need to be watching this video. You need to be, if you're doing meth and you don't want to be doing meth anymore, you're going to need like professional help. Like, you're going to need to go have people watch you, make sure that you don't get your hands on meth anymore. And like, because you can't be trusted at that point. When you're addicted to something like that, when you're physically dependent on it, you can't really just trust yourself to get over that kind of thing. But for the most people who deal with like common addictions, the thing can be overcome. But all it really takes is just for you to notice that it really just comes down to, you just have a really great memory and you really believe in yourself. Now, let me explain what I mean by that. So the primary thing that's happening when you're addicted to something is that you remember it. You are remembering what the thing was like the last time you did it, specifically the first time you did it, and it was brand new to you. It was novel, and it was super duper stimulating. And this can be anything. It can just be like another person you're addicted to. It can just be like maybe a physical, like exercise you're addicted to. There's a doctor, like there's a doctor on the internet right now. You can look her up. She specializes in addiction. Her name is Anna Lemke, and she said she was addicted to reading. And I believe her, because I think that the human mind is super, it's just powerful enough to grab a hold of just anything and just not be willing to let it go. Like, there's literally a show called My Strange Addictions where people are just on that show and they are just addicted to the weirdest, most random stuff. And what's happening is that you are remembering a situation, and it was super stimulating to you the first time you did it. So now you remember it, and then you do it again with the expectation that it's going to be just like it was the first time. And what ends up happening is that you end up remembering it, and you keep remembering it as this awesome thing, but you lose consciousness. You stop doing the activity or being involved in the thing or the situation. You stop being involved with that thing consciously, and it becomes compulsive. And when you're compulsive about something, you're totally just like out of. It's like you're not conscious. Like, you're not even barely paying attention to the thing. So, because obviously, like, when you're constantly stimulated by something, you end up just forgetting that you're being stimulated by the thing because it's just constantly happening. So you just imagine you're just hearing a sound all day. You just end up forgetting that the sound is there. But you're wanting to get involved with the situation, and you just keep remembering it, and you keep going back to it with the hopes of it being the same way. And a lot of the time, most of the time, especially if you're addicted to something, it's not really the same. The actual thing is never as good as what you remember it as. And all it really takes is that you have to just pay attention. You just need to be present. And while you're doing the thing, so whatever the thing is that you may be suspicious or suspect yourself of being addicted to, just while you're around the thing or involved with the thing, interacting with the thing, just pay attention. Like, just pay attention to what is it like. And you'll realize that most of the time you didn't need it. Like, if you have a problem with food and you just keep eating, you're most likely you're just eating and you're not paying attention. You're just eating and you're doing it while you're watching the TV or while you're playing games, and you're not really paying attention to what it feels like. And you just end up somehow just eating 17 hot dogs in one sitting, and you just like, over the course of the afternoon, you went from regular to a glizzy gladiator just out of the blue. Like, and it's just like it was like a flash, all of a sudden you're a glizzy goblin. Now, if you want to be a glizzy goblin, that's on you. Like, I'm not interested in telling someone who is interacting with a thing and they love the thing that they should stop doing it. That's not what I'm trying to do here. Like, if you're on meth or something and you like meth, then by all means just stay on meth. Because at the end of the day, it has to be something that you actually determine in your own experience that this is something that I'm doing that I no longer want to be doing. It's something that I keep coming back to without really thinking about it, and I want to stop. So it has to be that kind of situation. The first step is realizing that it's an issue for you. And if it's not an issue for you, then it's not an issue for anyone else. Like, obviously, like, you like it, it's your life, by all means, do you. But what's driving this compulsive behavior is memory. And when I say that you really believe in yourself, I'm saying that you actually, if you have an identity already as an addict, you actually really, really believe that. Like, you really believe that it's just a part of you. Like, you really believe that there's something in here that's just it just by default just needs this thing that I'm super drawn to. It just really, really needs the thing. Like, and what happens is you end up fulfilling that because you believe it. So if you believe that you are addicted to cigarettes and you need to smoke, I hear people who smoke cigarettes saying this, like, they need to smoke, or people who are out, like alcoholics, I need a drink. Do you believe that? Like, and obviously they do believe it because they end up fulfilling it. So when you have an identity that's wrapped around a specific situation, what happens is you don't allow yourself the room to be a new thing. You don't allow yourself the room to be a quote unquote better person. If you want to be a better quote unquote better person who's not addicted to cigarettes, who's not addicted to alcohol, you have to actually give yourself a chance, give yourself the opportunity, and realize that every moment is a new moment. It's not every time you drink, anytime you take a sip, that's a new time you're sipping. You have the option to mid-sip put the drink down. It's based on you just paying attention and realizing that like, this identity that I'm clinging to is not actually real. This identity, I'm actually giving authority to, my consciousness is giving authority to something that isn't real. And that could either be yourself or your past. When you're remembering something, that's what that is. You're giving authority to the past. You actually are using your imagination to sort of like bring back something that happened before. You're using your imagination to bring it back, and so you actually end up feeling called to do that thing because you're remembering it as if it's happening right now. So you can almost taste the glizzies when you're a glizzy goblin. You can almost, when you're thinking about glizzies, it's just like, I'm thinking about glizzies and I'm just like, I'm gonna stop talking about glizzies because this sounds super sus, but you know, you get the point of what I'm saying, right? Like, you're operating on this compulsive way that doesn't give you freedom or room to move in the moment. In the grand scheme of things, most of us can overcome our compulsions. When I say most of us, I really just mean people who aren't biologically, physiologically addicted to something, who have been putting chemicals into themselves that are like hijacking their actual like human capabilities. Those type of people really do need, you gotta, if you're that type of person and you are wanting to get out of that situation, you need to go get like some supervision, and like you're probably gonna have to wean off of whatever you're on, and like go that route. But for most of us who are just like, we're just stuck on YouTube all day, or endlessly scrolling through TikTok, Instagram, or whatever, all that takes is you got to just pay attention. Just pay attention to your moment and realize that the thing you're searching for something that you are never going to find. There's no end to that search. You keep looking and you keep wanting. Your desire is just consuming your consciousness to the point where you can't even see anymore. Like, it's just consumed you. It's blurred your vision, and now you are consumed by desire to the point where you're lost. And it's just gonna have to be you realizing that you're always found in the moment. That's where you're found. You can't go anywhere else other than the present moment. You can't go to the past for real. You can't go to the future for real. It's not once an addict, always an addict. It's right now, what am I doing? So I hope this was helpful. Other than that, have a nice life.